In the heart of winter, a group of 5 friends, driven by the allure of adventure and the thrill of the unknown, embarked on a camping trip in the secluded, snow-covered woods of Maine. The group consisted of Jack, the de facto leader with a penchant for the outdoors; Emily, his level-headed girlfriend; Lucas, the joker of the pack; Sarah, the quiet and thoughtful one; and Mike, who was new to the group, eager to fit in. Their journey began under a clear, star-lit sky, with laughter and excitement filling the crisp winter air. They trekked deep into the woods, far from civilization, guided only by the light of their flashlights and the promise of an untouched camping spot by a frozen lake. As night enveloped the forest, they set up camp, a small oasis of warmth and light amidst the vast silent wilderness. They huddled around the fire, sharing stories and jokes, the flickering flames casting long, dancing shadows between the trees. However, as the night grew deeper, an uneasy feeling began to creep over them. The forest, which had seemed so inviting by day, now felt oppressive, its darkness hiding unknown threats. It started with strange noises, distant howls and rustling in the underbrush, easily dismissed as the sounds of nocturnal animals. But then came the footprints, large and oddly shaped, found near the campsite in the morning snow. The group tried to laugh it off, attributing the prints to a bear or some other large animal. But as the day progressed, the atmosphere of unease grew. They felt watched, followed. Shadows seemed to move just beyond the range of their vision, and the forest was eerily quiet, as if all life had fled from some unseen terror. As night fell again, their fear intensified. The fire seemed less protective, its light unable to penetrate the all-consuming darkness that surrounded them. They huddled closer, jumping at every sound, every crack of a branch, every whisper of the wind. Then, in the deepest, darkest hour of the night, it happened. A terrifying scream shattered the silence, coming from the edge of the camp. It was Sarah. They found her standing by the trees, her face pale, her eyes wide with terror. She spoke of a creature, large and monstrous, with glowing eyes and sharp claws, lurking just beyond the light of the campfire. Panic ensued. They wanted to leave, but the forest was too dark, too dangerous to navigate at night. They decided to wait for dawn, their fear mounting with every passing hour. But dawn never came. The darkness lingered, unnatural and unyielding. The fire began to dwindle, and with it their last vestige of safety. They were not alone in the woods. Something was out there, watching, waiting. In the end, it was Mike who ventured into the darkness. Armed with a flashlight and a makeshift weapon, he disappeared between the trees, determined to find a way out. The others waited, their fear turning to despair as the hours dragged on. Mike never returned. Instead, something else came out of the darkness. Something unspeakable. The creature from Sarah's story, more terrifying than anything they could have imagined. The last thing they heard was the sound of their own screams, echoing through the frozen forest, and then silence. The mystery of what happened to those 5 friends in the winter woods of Maine remains unsolved. Some say they fell prey to the elements, victims of their own unpreparedness. Others whisper of a monster, a creature of the night lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next prey. But the truth is buried under the snow, hidden in the darkness of the forest, a tale of terror forever untold. In the weeks that followed the disappearance of the group, the local authorities conducted a thorough search of the area. The abandoned campsite was found, the fire long extinguished, belongings scattered as if the campers had left in a hurry. But of the 5 friends, there was no trace, save for the unsettling footprints that circled the campsite, leading off into the dense forest. The story quickly captured the public's imagination. Theories abounded, from a bear attack to a tragic accident, from foul play to something more supernatural. The locals spoke in hushed tones of an old legend, a creature that roamed the woods, a remnant of a time long forgotten, a guardian of ancient secrets. They called it the Frostwalker. Months turned into years, and the mystery of the missing campers became a local legend, a chilling campfire tale to scare the curious and the foolhardy. But for those who had known the missing group, the pain and uncertainty remained a constant companion. Among these was Jack's younger brother, Daniel. Haunted by his brother's disappearance and dissatisfied with the lack of answers, he began his own investigation. He pored over maps, interviewed locals, and researched the legends and folklore of the region. His obsession led him to an old hermit living on the outskirts of the woods, a man who spoke of ancient spirits and unspoken pacts. The hermit warned Daniel of the dangers, of a darkness that dwelled in the heart of the forest, a force not to be trifled with. But Daniel was undeterred. He needed to know what had happened to his brother and his friends. Armed with supplies and a determination born of desperation, Daniel ventured into the woods. The forest greeted him with an oppressive silence, the trees standing like silent sentinels, their branches bare and claw-like against the grey sky. As he delved deeper, the forest seemed to change. The air grew colder, the path less distinct. He found himself in a part of the woods that felt untouched, ancient. The snow was deeper here, the trees older, their trunks gnarled and twisted. And then he saw it, a structure, half buried in the snow, its origins lost to time. It was a shrine of sorts, primitive and eerie, adorned with symbols that seemed to predate any known civilization in the area. A sense of dread washed over him, but he pressed on, drawn by an inexplicable force. That night, as he camped near the shrine, the forest came alive with whispers. Voices barely audible spoke in a language he did not understand, yet somehow felt familiar. He had dreams, vivid and disturbing, of shadowy figures moving through the trees, of eyes glowing in the darkness, of a chilling voice calling his name. The next day, Daniel discovered another set of footprints, much like those found at his brother's campsite. They were fresh, leading away from the shrine and deeper into the forest. Compelled by a mix of fear and curiosity, he followed. The trail led him to a clearing where the snow was disturbed, signs of a struggle evident. And there, at the center of the clearing, was a figure half buried in the snow. It was Mike, or what was left of him. His body was frozen, his face contorted in a final expression of terror. As Daniel stood there, trying to process the horror before him, the forest seemed to close in around him. A cold wind whispered through the trees, and a low growl echoed in the distance. He realized then that he was not alone. Fleeing in terror, Daniel ran blindly through the snow, the growl growing louder, closer. He dared not look back for fear of what he might see. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs gave out, collapsing in the snow, the darkness closing in. When he awoke, he was in a hospital bed, the memories of the forest like a distant nightmare. But the truth was there, in the news reports, in the whispered conversations of the nurses. They had found him in the woods, half dead from exposure, raving about monsters and ancient shrines. The authorities declared the case of the missing campers closed, attributing their disappearance to a tragic encounter with a bear or some other wild animal. But Daniel knew the truth, a truth too terrifying to comprehend. The Frostwalker was real, a creature of legend and nightmare, a guardian of secrets best left undiscovered. And the woods, the ancient haunted woods, held more mysteries than anyone dared to imagine. As for Daniel, he left the hospital with a new purpose. he would return to the woods to uncover the secrets of the Frostwalker, to face the darkness that had claimed his brother and his friends. For some mysteries are too compelling, too consuming to be left unsolved, even when the truth is as chilling as the winter wind. Thanks for listening to this story. Put a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.